Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Danny. This is Retired Dream Life, and this right here is my Magnum 4000 Gold hot water pressure washer, sometimes referred to as a steam cleaner. I've been wanting one of these things since I was 18 and in high school. We had one of these at the in shop class. I really loved it a lot, and I've always wanted one. Well, when I was shopping for a pressure washer, this one popped up on Facebook Marketplace, and I decided to go ahead and buy it. So let's do a little walk around it, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. As stated, it is a Magnum 4000 Series Gold. 4000 meaning that it has 4,000 PSI. It is by far the most powerful pressure washer I've ever used. It's got a 15 horsepower engine on it with an electric start. And I've already had to call customer service one time just to ask them about an issue I was having. We'll talk about that more later in the video and tell you what I've done to try to rectify it. All right, so as you can see here, this here's for your soap to go in. It dispenses soap automatically. Here's where you hook up the actual pressure washer. You'll see more of that in the video. This hose right here is a lot stiffer than any other pressure washer I've ever used before. And it does have the little rotary on the end spinning around to help loosen the grime. There's a little battery underneath here. And there's the electronic ignition. I'm going to talk more about that towards the end of the video. Here's how you start it and set the temperature. And it runs on number 2 heating oil or diesel. So there you go. Quick walk around about it. One thing I noticed right off the bat about this pressure washer, it is heavy. It's very difficult to move it around. And what I quickly found out was just simply bringing it up about 3 feet on the side of that hill was quite a challenge. Now let's get into the video. All right, well, I was out in the rain cutting up some trees, and the wood chipper was blowing particles all over my side-by-side, so I thought I'd use this and see how she does. I can say that there's a couple things already I noticed about it, but I'll give a final review at the very end of the video. First of all, it's heavy. It's like really, really heavy. I just tried to bring it up like a 3-foot incline here, and I had to hook it to the back of the side-by-side. It is way heavy. So I've got it hooked up to some water, and yeah, let's see what she does. I have no idea what she's going to do, but let's give it a shot. Oh, I probably should put a tip in there. I'm going to use, well, it might already have a green tip in there. Oh, I think it's got one of those tips that wobble around. So I don't think it's using any of those tips at all. All right, let's give it a shot. All right, well, that's not good. I'll show you. Right as I started up and started building up pressure, the actual hose blew off. I was having a hard time with this, getting it to the seat. As you can see now, it's stuck in the back position. So just as I started it up, this popped off. This is the hose for the handle. And I was having a hard time getting it to seat. As you can see right now, it's not seating. So I was tapping on it with the hammer. I guess I need to work on that just a little bit, and we'll start it up again. Well, let's try round 2. I don't know how much better this is going to be. Thing's spraying a lot of water out. Yeah, I mean, a lot of water's coming out of that thing. Shouldn't be doing that, especially right there. I think there's a seal missing. Well, let's see what happens. so all the pressure's coming out. There must be a rubber gasket or seal that's missing from there. Let me check into it. I don't know if there's supposed to be a gasket in there or not, but there's definitely not one. I don't know if there's an O-ring that it goes up against, but I do not see anything in there that represents a sealing unit. So maybe it's missing that, or this edge is just worn out. Maybe it's a tight fit. Don't know, but it's not sealing, and it's kind of pointless. So this is going to take some research, but for now I'm going to go ahead and wash my ATV just to get the stuff out of it. Hopefully to get better. I don't know. I just wish I knew. Unfortunately, this is not my forte. Something I work with on a regular basis. Something else I didn't like. You hook up the water hose here, and then that goes in. I mean, this kind of, if you want a nice straight water hose, that's right in line with where that's supposed to be. That needs to either be turned up or, shortened, or come straight out the side somehow. Or this have a 90 degree on it, and a water hose just goes in there, just like that one goes in. That's the way I think it should go. But I didn't design it. I know that the burner didn't kick on the short few minutes that I was running it. All right, well, I'm going to pressure wash this, and I'll get back to that seal and find out. Well, I brought on the rain, apparently. I found an O-ring, put it in there, didn't do any good. So not sure what that's all about. Also, even though I've got the burner selected on and there's fuel in there, it's not kicking on. So I don't know why it's not kicking on. So I decided to come in out of the rain. Well, I finally got the parts in. I wanted a new one of these anyways. This thing's kind of sticking, even though I've lubed it and cleaned it. And looking in here, there is an O-ring inside here. So that one doesn't have one. I got an extra one. It came in a pack of 2. So I'm going to replace that real quick. That's a good bit of rust starting to form on the bottom of this. Yeah, that O-ring is missing. This one should work a lot better. Just checking out the threads, making sure they look good. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I even measured this thing. It's got a different fitting. It's like a compression, tapered compression fitting, and that one's straight. Shoot nuggets. Really? Man. Gosh darn it. Now I gotta wait another week or so. Crud. I didn't know they came in so many different varieties. I even came out and measured this thing before ordering these. And it measured right. As you can see, they're extremely close. This is more like a pipe thread, and this is more of a machine thread. Darn it. Yep, not even close. This is a pipe thread. Darn. Gotta order some more. All right, round two. Let's try this again. I think I got the right part now. Okay, let me get the part. All right, so this one has that tapered pipe thread. See if that works. No! Again? Are you kidding me? Every time it takes like a week to get these sent back and then get them back again. Ooh, if only I had an adapter. Wrong again. Jeez. All right, I'm tired of waiting. This is the old one. All it's needing is an O-ring in there. It needs to be cleaned up because it's kind of corroded. So I'm going to take the O-ring out that I put in there, which was obviously too big because I see it wasn't fitting right. I think that got pinched. Anyways, that's the first thing. Second thing was the hole. It's kind of corroded. So it was getting rusty. Looks good now. And let's take a little wire brush to it. What you don't realize is every single time it's the wrong part and doesn't fit, I then gotta order another part. Takes a week. There's no deliveries to this address where I'm at, so I have it delivered to my address up in Washington, PA. And then next time we come down here, I bring it. Unfortunately, that ends up taking well over a week, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on the part. So as much as I hate to steal from a perfectly good part. I need to get my tractor. I need to get my bulldozer pressure washed so I can service all the zert fittings, because some of them are kind of buried in dirt and muck. And a silly little seal is not allowing the water pressure to build inside the handle, which causes very weak pressure. It's not much of a pressure washer blasting stuff off. All right, and here's the other problem, but I think I got something for the other problem being kind of corroding the ball bearings, not spinning very well. All right, so as I was going to get the PB blaster to get this all cleaned up, by the way, shout out to Chris from NKH, No Nonsense No How.
Danny Creech, first person to spot the Project Farm shirt.
I'm a subscriber to his channel, love watching his channel. He has the sponsor of PB Blaster. Wish I did, my channel's not big enough. But anyways, I put some penetrating oil in there, then I put the lubricating oil in there, and I still felt like this thing was spinning on sand. So what you miss, because the camera battery died, is it goes on like this, and then there's a ring to keep it from popping off. Anyways, I've started disassembling this because I've got to clean these bearings. I noticed that when I pulled the collar back, that there were bearings that were stuck, that they were not retracting. So what I'm doing now is pulling the bearings out, and this is a delicate operation because these bearings will probably want to go flying. So I'm having to get each bearing, pop it out, and then clean this whole thing up. I don't know if this is anything interesting that you guys would want to watch, but I am tired of waiting and waiting for parts and coming back only for them not to fit. That's twice now, and I'm just not going to wait anymore. So fix what I got. These really don't want to pop out. I wish I had better lighting for you. Then again, I wish I had better lighting for myself. But this house is being sold, and so the weak fluorescent bulbs that are in here now are going to stay. They're not wanting to pop out. And you know what's going to help me to not lose those bearings? Just thought about it. A magnetic base. That'll keep these from rolling on and off somewhere into a galaxy far, far away. All right, once I get all these out, I'll bring you back. So here's a little trick of holding bearings in. This is just some grease. Put it in each one of the holes. It's sticky enough to hold the bearing while you're going around putting all of them in. Those of you who've done wheel bearings, you know already this trick. Those needle bearings that are loose, if you got one that has needle bearings that are loose, this is what will hold them in. Those who worked on pull starters, on lawnmowers, it's got those bearings, normally it's only about 4, that sling out and catch. You probably know this trick as well. Not a new trick, but there are new people learning this trick that may be watching right now. I've never seen it before. All right. Some of these still feel a little stiff as it's going in. And honestly, I don't know if this will do any good. But I gotta try something. Alright, now comes the harder part. After putting this on, sliding this collar down, which I'm going to use a little grease in there too. Putting this ring on. This ring was so hard to get off, I had to call my wife over to help. And even though I've got kind of the right tool for the job, there wasn't a big enough gap to get the little teeth or whatever that is in there. Well, yeah, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Going on took, what, 2 seconds? Taking that thing off, I fought with it for 15 minutes. Ah, man, it's not any better. Still feels gritty. One of those bearings has some serious rust on it. Oh well, now the last thing needs to have a seal down in there. Boy, I hate to do this. Oh well, gotta get it. So I gotta have it. This is the one I needed. I don't really have a light to shine down there to show you, but it is in there. Yep. All right, let me go see if that fits. All right, she's bone dry and not a drop. Those couple of drops were already there that you see, and that's what I was expecting. All because of that silly O-ring, man. Now I got to figure out how to get the burner going. I don't know if you need the key on to do that or what. Turn the key to on. Last time the burner didn't come on. Yep. Turn this up high. I think that's all the way up. And I know that it has a pressure sensor on there that senses whether or not there's water. That's what this is. Tells the electronics that there's pressure in the line so it can start up. and I've never seen it start up. I know there's diesel in there. I don't know what it takes. Oh look, startup instructions. I wonder if I should read that. Alright, so the instructions said to turn it on, get it started first, then turn the burner to on. So let's try that. It's going to be loud, so you won't be able to hear me talking, which maybe that's a good thing. So it's not like she's really all that dirty, as you can see. It's just a little bit. I just want to be able to check the conditions of everything. I want to clean up little places like that piston there. Check the tracks. There is some grease and oil leaking out around the vehicle, around the dozer, and I just kind of wanted to clean it up. I also noticed that there was mice making a house down in here. So this area is where I really wanted the steam part for. Cleaning up inside there. And just kind of overall rinsing it off and getting a good look at her. As you know, I haven't really done anything with her since I bought her. I want to grease up things like this. By the way, that's where you check your oil, engine oil. Took me a while to find that one. I guess it doesn't need much greasing up. Let's see. Yeah, I got the exhaust covered, and yeah, I want to polish up these cylinders, make sure everything looks good, and then go around and find all the zert fittings and put grease where there needs to be grease. And yeah, just check the belts, all this kind of stuff. But before I do that, I wanted to wash her up. So that's what this is all about. Just wash her up. I have found some cracks in here. I don't know if that's gonna affect anything. I will work with it and see if it gets worse. If it gets worse, then I'll stop and weld that part up. All right, so let's get started. There'll be a separate video about me servicing this Fiat Alice 8B, or Fat Alice on a diet, as I like to say. Shout out to my friend Matt at Diesel Creek. I've learned a lot from him watching his videos, and a couple other people. John at Farmcraft 101, shout out to you. Great people, and you can learn a lot from these guys, even when they say they don't know anything. Just having experience on other pieces of equipment they do, and them sharing their knowledge has really helped me and understanding a lot of stuff, like, you know, what's going on behind this cover right here, and just a lot of things about these pieces of heavy equipment. So next I'm going to service this. That'll be a separate video. That's going to wrap it up for the pressure washer video. So as you saw, I ran into just one little issue. Took me probably close to a month to finally get that fixed, and I ended up still using the old one. So the other issue that I found was when I was using it, it wouldn't get hot, and then all of a sudden I'd look over and there'd be a 5-foot flame shooting out the top of this. So I ended up calling customer service and asked them about that, and they said it sounds like your ignition source is putting fuel in, but the ignition source is not lighting it off. So they gave me some recommendations. I went in and did those, making sure that the contacts were within a certain amount of space, that they were sparking, and everything was looking good there. Honestly, I haven't used it since then, but I wanted to go ahead and wrap up this video. So I'll let you know in a future video whether or not that did fix it. I think it did. There was a little bit of corrosion, so that might have been it. But yeah, other than the fact that this thing is really gosh darn heavy, I like it. I like it a lot. Now, when I bought this from the guy who was selling it, I asked him, I was like, why would you get rid of it? The thing is in great condition. And he said, it's just too heavy to move around for most jobs. He says, this is basically for like a really dirty engine, oily, greasy stuff, and we really don't have that much around here that needs that. And I totally kind of agree with him, but I still love it. I love the pressure from it, and it really gets the dirt off the tracks of the bulldozer. It's very powerful, cleans quickly. As you saw, it cleaned the side-by-side fantastic, as well as getting all the mud and caked on dirt off the bulldozer. My next video should be on the servicing of the bulldozer. That should be out in about a week, so watch for that. Again, as always, give us a like, subscribe. Remember, it doesn't cost you a dime. It sure helps out the channel. And let all your friends know about it who likes this kind of content. We got a lot going on here at the airport, and as we can, we like to put out videos so that you can stay up to date with what all we're doing. See you on the next one, everyone.